Hey, what's up guys, Just Boost here and welcome back to another One Piece video. Today we have another local finals between, on the left, George, aka Skepas G, on Doflamingo, against myself on Black Rob Lucci, OP7. So, let's see, Dofi won the die roll and then we both opted to mulligan. So, yeah, just generally about this matchup, I hear a lot of people say like Lucci hard counters Dofi, yada yada, but honestly, in my opinion, it's not really true. I really feel like the matchup is very 50-50 if the Dofi player knows what he's doing. So Lucci's not that favored. Like at most, I would say it's like 50 or 55-45 or even 50-50 to be honest. So we see Dofi start here with the buggy. Stacking the top three cards and keeping them at the top because the buggy can stack to the bottom right. Then Lucci going second, no spend them, so no play on the first turn. And we see Dofi here bringing out the Boa Hancock, which again gets to stack the top 3 cards, so he's getting to see 2 new cards now. Let's hope for him they are good ones. And then the 8k swing into leader is of course going to connect. Like, taking this first swing, where you're going second as Lucci, always annoying, because usually it means that you're going to get super heavily punished by pudding on the next turn if they have it. Okay, going to 4 Don now. Let's see if we have the Brook, because that's the best card to play out on this turn. And then, Brook plus reduction is very, very nice, but even just going 6k into the Boa and then playing the Brook to KO the buggy is nice, because it shuts off their law. It looks like we do have the reduction. We're going to mill Tempest Kick and Moria. Give -1 to the Boa, swing 5 into leader, which he will most likely take, I would assume. And then probably Ice Age Brook here. Oh, actually see 2 Brook. Alright, that also works. And he already is moving the Boa to the trash because he knows what's coming, right? So that's pretty decent, because it just reduces the pressure on the field, right? And it's basically always worth playing out the 2 here to KO the Boa, because in the end you would use the 2 as the counter anyway, and then the Boa is still on the field. Well, if you play it here to get rid of the Boa, yes, you do not have the 2k counter anymore, but you also won't need it to counter the Boa swing, right? See Sengoku coming down, picking up the 2k Mihawk. So we don't know the top card of the deck now, but we have the Teach, so we'll just be able to stack it. Probably just gonna go 8 again, I would assume. Or if he has the Law, which is ideal, he could go swing 7, play out Law, bounce Brook, and then bounce the Sengoku to hand to play out Sengoku again, but it looks like he does not have the Law, so... Or maybe he does. Maybe he does, because he's opting to swing 7 again. Okay, bringing out the Law, and maybe the reason to not to swing with 8 anyways, because he wasn't planning on playing the Sengoku again, but I would guess that now he will be playing it again. No trigger, and yeah, we see the Sengoku come down once more. Looking at the top 5, picking up. I think we saw Moria in there, but he is opting to go for the Jinbei, which is, of course, very, very good against Lucci. So we now have the Teach and the Law on field. Like, if we have reduction plus 4 cost Lucci here, that would be very strong to get rid of the Teach and the Law. But honestly, we can also just use our... Let's see, we have 6, so we can go like 8k swing into Law, reduce the Teach, and then play out the Brook from hand again to KO the Teach, which is definitely a line. And then maybe if we have Rebecca, we can go 7 and then go Rebecca into Brook, which is also good, but I don't think we have anything in trash right now to pick up with the Rebecca to make it worthwhile. But of course, we can gamble and see if we mill something. Mill Who Is Who and Khalifa, so actually very, very good, because those are both 2k, so that means we can pick up a 2k and then play out the Brook. And I think that it looks like that's what's going to happen here, right? Although, to be fair, if we hit the lull here and he lets it go, we can also just play 4-cost Lucci to get rid of the Sengoku and the Teach, which is also a good line, I think. So yeah, both those lines are pretty strong. I'm not sure. Like, it's a couple of days ago that we played this game, so not completely sure what is going to happen. But we know for a fact that Brook is in the hand, right? And since I left 4 Don open, it seems very plausible that Rebecca is going to come down. George really thinking here if he wants to protect the lull at the cost of 2 cards. Because we know he has the Mihawk, so he could do that for sure. And he does have like 6 cards in hand, I think. But he opts to let it go. Yes. And then we go Rebecca. And as I said, pick up a 2k and play out the Brook. I pick up, thinking which 2k I'm gonna pick there. Kind of depends, right? But generally, Khalifa is the better one, yeah. And then Brook. Because Khalifa is also set up for the next turn potentially to go like swing with leader, give -1, then play out Khalifa, give -2, and then Brook KO 4-cost. So yeah, pretty decent game state here on the Lucci side, but Dofi now going to 7 Don, which potentially could mean he could go for a Gravity Blade, but that doesn't establish anything on the field, so not a huge fan of that. It looks like he either doesn't have it or also is opting to not go for it, playing out. Alright, we of course know he has the Jinbei. Thinking about it for a little bit, but just go more wide is better, right? Because like the more characters you have on the field, the harder it is for Lucci to out them. So you can keep applying pressure. So we go Jinbei into lull, which now sort of makes sense why he opted to not protect his lull, because he already had access to another one. And he's going to bounce the Sengoku. And now I guess he's considering whether to bounce the Buggy back to hand or go for either the Brook or the Rebecca. But to be fair, you never really want to bounce the Rebecca because it just generates advantage once more when it hits the field, right? He's considering it though. Like, of course, like in the late game, it's good to bounce Rebecca because it means you can apply more pressure, and in the end, like, you never want to play the control game against Lucci. You just want to hit face, right, with leader. So in that sense, bouncing Rebecca is good, but I really think in this point of the game, with there's still being 3 life, you really don't want to be doing this. Oh, and then he goes like, Rebecca, nah, let's do the Brook, and he plays out another Teach, which is strong, which means he will be able to spawn another body this turn, go and swing 7 as well. He spawns Weevil, so that's good. I'm thinking here, like, I can go for the block with the Rebecca, but I really prefer to keep that on the field. Go to Adon, and then I can also just go 2k, 1k. Honestly, like, going to 2 life is fine, but you never want to go below 2, to be honest. If you can. And I also opt to counter out here, which makes sense, because it's so important to just alright, just showing off the hand here. It's like Tempest Kick, Soap Sheep. Brook, like, it's not good. Like, the hand cannot deal with the board state as it is right now. But of course, Tempest Kick is gonna allow us to draw some cards and maybe find the answers. Like, if we find 4-cost Lucci with the Tempest Kicks, that's good because we can then go Soap Sheep into Lucci, KO 2 of the 4-cost bodies, which is quite strong, and then we're still in like a relatively okay position. Like, the game is not lost, let's put it like that. But yeah, I have to dig for answers here, so go Tempest Kick. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think I drew another Tempest Kick off this Tempest Kick, so like, horrible. And also, we do not even get the minus effects from the Tempest Kick here, which is just even worse, because there's not 10 cards in our trash or 9 cards in our trash. Like, Tempest Kick, it says you need 10 cards in the trash, right, to give the -3, but it does count itself, so just need 9 for the setup. Yeah, did we find the answer? I honestly don't remember. Like, we of course know I have the Brook in hand, so we can probably deal with at least one body. And then we still have the leader swing as well. So if worst comes to worst, we can just go 8 into Weevil, give -1 to Teach, play out the Brook to KO the Teach maybe. But then he still has 3 bodies on the field, which is too much. Like, it's too much. You can apply too much pressure then. Even with the Rebecca on the field, because you never want to go to 0 life, right? And at that point, it will be really good with to bounce Rebecca with the lull to apply the pressure. Honestly, I think this matchup is very, very interesting if both the players are playing the deck well. Like, it's not one-sided at all. Lots of interaction. Very, very fun. So I'm going to swing 6 into the Weevil. I look really happy there. I don't know if you saw the hand gesture to mill the Lucci. Because I think we have Span 9 in hand. So that will allow us to... yeah, to access the 4-cost Lucci actually. And then we will be able to get rid of the Jinbei, it looks like, and the Weevil. Yeah. So that's actually very good. So now we're actually back to a good game state for the Lucci side. Especially with the block on the field and the 3 life. Yeah, very nice. So I'm going to put back like the Tempest Kicks. Bring out Lucci. We do empty our trash here though. Even have to put back like more CP names because the trash is so small. We keep the Brook and I think it's Helmeppo. Can't quite tell. So, yeah, pretty good turn there for Lucci. Like, obviously not ideal, but it's we got there in the end. Like, ideally, of course, you just play more on the Aegon turn, or there's even like hand combinations where you can potentially out 3 bodies. But this outing 2 bodies here was fine. Fine for sure. So going to tap 1 Don maybe. Because he has another Sengoku in the hand, and then we know he also has Moria. Yeah, Sengoku is gonna come down. Wonder what he's digging for. Maybe another Jinbei? Or another Law. I guess if you wanted the Law, you could have just gone Moria. No, actually, with the Jinbei as well, so... yeah, not completely sure. Like, I haven't played Dofi so much that I... So he just hardcast the Law. Oh no, that's the Law that was already on the field. So now he's just going to go swing 7 at leader. Which I would assume I'm going to take. Especially since Rebecca is still on the field, right? And we low-key kind of want him to bounce Rebecca because it's just... it's so good to get the +1 out of it. Then we hard play a Law here to bounce back the Buggy, actually, and Lucci. And now Teach is going to stack a card to the top deck. Could have been interesting. Well, I suppose you don't really, like I said, you don't want to bounce Rebecca. But like in another scenario, it could have been fun to like bounce the Law instead of the Buggy with the Law, and then bring it out again with the Teach into leader ability to bounce a Sengoku and then bounce another card. But like I said, in this specific game state, no. Then 8k leader swing, bring out Moria, which is going to pick up Law. I mean, it's George, right? He really likes Law. He's just playing the wrong deck. Because if you're not familiar, he really like he piloted red-green Law all the time, won a regional with it, so... And not in like the red-green Law Prime, but like in like OP7, so pretty impressive stuff. Then this 8k swing. Really thinking about it as well, because like I said, going down to 1 life against Dovi is very, very scary, because then they no longer have to play the control game against you. They can just go aggro. So I opt to block here. Probably does double 2k. Or maybe we found Moria last turn. Then it also makes sense that we block here. But there is no Lucci in the trash, I think. So doing a Moria play would be a little bit mid. Because in this, like, honestly, in the Lucci deck, you almost never want to play the value Moria. Like, you can, of course, and if you're already ahead, then it's fine, I guess. But, like, in this specific game state with 3 5k bodies on the field, you really want to play those removal cards out with the Moria. And I don't think we have access to it. I mean, I guess we could, because we do have the Brook in the hand. So if we bring back the Rebecca, then we can play out the Rebecca or the Brook with the Rebecca. And it's still like a removal, which is nice. But we also have Lucci's Soap Sheep in hand, which is just a guarantee removal of 2 bodies. So that's probably a bit better. Even though, you know, if you just establish the Moria, that means that, like, basically every turn the Moria is going to be able to trade with a body on the Dovi field, because he's 9k. And most of the bodies are 5k, right? So we actually go 7 into the law here, and we mill Lucci 2. So very, very good mill. Very strong. Give -1 to the Moria. Oh, that's a very, very good mill. Oh, actually thinking about it, might not give the -1 to the Moria. Because we did get that mill, right? Very strong. So now suddenly it looks very, very viable to play out the Moria. And we give it to the Teach. Then we go Moria. Play out. Rebecca and Helmet. Okay, so we are going in the end for the Brook line. And we give the -3 to the Moria. We pick up Brook and just play it out over the spend 9. So we also get the spend 9 in trash. Yeah, that seems like a good line. That's strong. So we only got rid of 1 body, but we did get 2 cards out of his hand. We established the blocker and the Brook, and like the Brook is like basically a pseudo blocker, because they kind of have to attack it. I really think that if you're playing Dovi against Lucci, you always kind of want to just attack the leader, except for when Brook is on the field. Because, you know, having Brook on the field is basically a guaranteed removal every turn for free. Or just for the cost of the reduction. So, yeah, I feel like you want to remove him off the field. 5 into Brook, I let it go. Protecting life is much more important than protecting the Brook. And protecting the Brook is more expensive as well, since he is a 4k. So I'd rather use those counters when he's just attacking the leader. Yeah, pretty interesting game until now. Very equal in terms of advantage, and just I think how good our hands were. Like, Dovi is not high rolling at all. He just there's like decent options, and I feel like I have the same on the Lucci side. Of course, the Moria is very strong on the Tendon turn, but couldn't even. It's hard. Like, I could have hoped to high roll and go like 6 into Law, then hope I mill Lucci or something, and then play out the Soap Sheep, but I don't think that was necessary at this point, since we already had the Helmet or Rebecca Brook set up anyway. He's once again thinking about what he's going to do. The card's really chilling there, waiting to get played, but it doesn't. Oh, if he goes Gravity Blade here, that's also very strong, actually. Oh, no, he probably won't anymore, because then he would have done it on the Brook and the Rebecca, right? So he probably doesn't have it. Would have been very, very strong, though. For sure. Because that means all his swings get to go to leader, and there is no more blocker on the field. So he could put me on, like, lethal range. Another Law. Bouncing the Rebecca this time. And lol. And now he could go for another bounce, but I don't really think that's the way you want to do it here. Because there's nothing good to bounce, right? Not even to bounce your own hand. I suppose you could go like play out lol, bounce Sengoku and teach to your hands, but I'm not sure if you want to be doing that. Okay, so you opt to do teach effect here before attacking to play around Finger Pistol, I would assume. Which I'm not running, but of course he doesn't know that. That card is good actually. I don't think it's bad. It's very strong on your 4-don turn against Dofi because usually like that turn can just be awkward because you need like removal or reduction plus Brook, or you just have to swing 9 with your leader, which is annoying, and then Finger Pistol also is like additional grave setup. Okay, so he swings 8 and I go 0 cost event, discard Lucci I think plus Rebecca. So it looks like I probably have a second Moria in the hand. And then 8 on leader again. And like I said, now he's probably going to bounce either the Teach and the Sengoku or just the Sengoku. I don't think he wants to give me anything back. And I think he's thinking like if he wants to bounce the Teach or not. So he bounces the Sengoku here and then looks like he's keeping the Teach on the board. And then he's probably just going to play out the Sengoku again, right? Like this is... I really think the Sengoku LOL interactions is like one of the most broken things about the Dofi deck. Absolutely crazy. I think that's also a little bit what makes the Dofi deck unfair. And like it's basically an aggro deck, but then for some reason you get to play like the control/advantage game with the LOL. I really think LOL is a pretty problematic card, honestly. I do have a balanced video talking about it, so if you want, you can check that out as well. It's on the channel somewhere. Oh, and actually bounced to LOL. Alright, that's... I mean, that makes sense, I think. That makes sense. And then he plays out the Sengoku. And he picks up Jinbei. Right, so now the Moria is probably going to trade with the LOL, and then if we can somehow get access to Lucci, the Lucci can probably pop the other LOL and the Teach, and then it's not looking so good for Dofi anymore. He basically will have to cheese with big leader swings to win the game. He's still on 4 life though, so he does have the time to try to do that, and we know he has the LOL in the hand, so yeah, we go 9 into LOL. Like he's very likely going to let that go, I would assume, yeah. If you waste like 3 cards from his hand to counter that, and then the Lucci swings in it with like 7, then gets KO'd anyway. Looks like the Lucci is maybe just going to swing 5? 6, apparently. And then maybe... No, I'm not sure. We'll see. Mill, Spandam, Kaido, very strong, very strong. Getting the Spandam in there as well, because it means we can now play reduction, and then we can potentially get the Spandam and set up a little bit more. He takes a life, which I think is fair. So we go... Ah, we have the Tempest Kick, right. So now the Spandam Mill is so good. Now the Spandam Mill is insane, actually. Yeah. So we get Rebecca and Spandam. Spandam is going to mill. We get the 2k, and then I assume we have Spandine. Spandine over Tsuru. And we do pretty much empty out the trash here, but it's definitely worth to just clear the field, right? And then the Lucci over the Spandine. Put back, I don't know, some cards. Yeah, now it's really looking very, very favored for Lucci. Now he's basically in that spot where Dofi needs to try to basically cheese the win to be able to win this game. But he could, right? He could. It's definitely not impossible. Especially we know he has the law. So he can go like play down law, bounce Sengoku, and Rebecca swing 11 into leader, and then next turn try it again, I suppose. Although that would of course mean that if that works this turn, I am going to try to just go for game. With Lucci, Moria, Lucci, like every hit will have to connect. So he goes Jinbei, play out Law, bounce Sengoku and Rebecca. Then he goes swing 11. And now basically, like, if this, if I can counter this out, I can pop the board, the game is over. And we will see if I can. Maybe. It does look like I'm gathering the cards, so it's probably going to work. So yeah, it's like 2k, 2k, 1k, 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 I think, to counter out the 11. And now I still have the Soap Sheep in hand, so if I go Soap Sheep Lucci, then the game is actually over on the spot. I can also try to go for game here, by the way, but there's no reason to do it. Like, I don't have to play around Rush Usopp, right? It's always in the back of my mind when I play against Dofy. I'm like, okay, I should have won the game now. Unless this guy plays Rush Usopp, and then I just randomly lose, which is kind of funny. Like, I don't think the card is good, but in this specific matchup, like, there are so many times it would just steal the game, which is funny. And George thinking here about the 7k swing. I think he probably needs to, yeah, if he can, he needs to counter it. Just go 5. Charles needs to counter, yeah. Then go 9. At 9, which he should take. And then I think I have enough. Yeah, I go Soap Sheep. And this is basically the point where the game is sealed, right? Soap Sheep. Play out Lucci. And the game is over. Because then next turn, like, there is literally nothing. Yeah. He scoops it up. Alright, like, subscribe. And if you do, I'll see you in the next one. I thought it was a good game. Bye-bye.